Welcome to the Detailing Down Under podcast, the place for everything auto detailing in Australia right now. Here's your host, Dale Guthrie.
G'day and welcome to the Detailing Down Under podcast. I'm your host, Dale Guthrie, back once again. And let me introduce also the new co-host, Joe. How you going, mate?
Hey, mate. Yeah, really good, man. It's good to be back again.
Yeah,
Loving it.
we've been doing a few episodes, so yeah, everything will come out of the wash eventually. Who we've been talking to, but I think this one, the one we got coming up today, is pretty awesome. I think we both know him. You know him very well. You had a bit to do with teeing this one up. So we got Jason Otterness from Car Supplies Warehouse and Optical Film and the Bays. He's got a lot going on, and he talks.
What isn't he a part of?
Yeah, it's for those who have been following him lately. He's had a fair bit going on last year, so we'll dive into that a little bit.
Yeah.
So but it's been cool. So
yeah.
He's
been in the industry for a long time. Hey, he's started from just nothing essentially and worked up a massive empire with a team, and got a bit shaky for a bit there, but he's back doing great things, and I think it's something we can all learn from.
Yep. Yeah. No, some pretty interesting thoughts that he has on the industry as well. We talk about that and everything that he's got going on, which is some cool concepts as well. So
yeah, so good.
But all right, we'll rip into this one, and thanks guys for listening. Talk soon. Cheers.
Let's go.
See ya. All right, let's get into this one. So let's welcome Jason Otterness, all the way from America, from Car Supplies Warehouse.
Afternoon, thanks, mate. Guys. I'm excited to talk to you, to catch up. It's been too long.
Welcome back. And we got Joe on board as well this morning. How you going, Joe?
Yep, great, thank you. Beautiful morning. What time is it there, Jace?
It is 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Cold, or I guess it's not winter anymore. Is it? Is it still winter?
It is. It's the middle of winter, and luckily we've had kind of like a little bit of a warm spell. It's been in 50 degrees Fahrenheit for the last couple days, but it'll get cold again.
Yeah, wow. I need to check out what that means for us. I'll figure that out.
Not the heat wave we've got anyway, so it's good. So Jace, it's been a while since you've been on and been to Australia. I remember that last time we all caught up, which was awesome in Sydney. So I think in the last 12 months you've had a fair bit going on in your businesses. So you've talked a bit about it on YouTube, on your channel, which is awesome, and gave us probably a bit of a great insight. But for those who haven't sort of really watched your YouTube, probably talk about what you can in what happened in your 2024. That was just pretty crazy.
Sure. The later part of 2023 began the split with my business partner. So Chicago Auto Pros, we started together 2012. And then ended up splitting. It was official July, October, August, somewhere in there of 2024. But it was, 6 to 8 months of some brutal back and forth and a lot of learning and a lot of challenges to get myself through. Wasn't something that I was expecting, and it's been tough, man. But it's one of those things that you go through these tough situations and challenges, and you come out the other side, and you've learned a lot. And while it sucked to go through it, I feel really good on the other side of it. So, that's kind of the broad happenings. I know we didn't dive into too much, but I'm glad to talk about some of the challenges that I went through and some of the actual issues, if you guys want to hear it. But
what I take away too is when we see people on YouTube, especially over here in Australia, there's like this, I feel like there's a bit of a separation of like we put you guys with massive YouTube channels for us on a pedestal, and it's kind of like you're you're more than human. You know, look at what they're doing. Like, look how capable they are, and you probably are more capable than some of us or all of us. You know, with the growth of your business, and obviously you got a team around you, but. At the end of the day, you still are human. You still go through all the things that a human does, and all those, like you said, those tough times that you had to work through. Can you just remind? And I know you won't mean this boastfully, but can you just remind us what kind of business Chicago Auto Pros was like when you were in it? Probably like at its peak, you know, when things were doing well, and yeah, if you want to share about that, if you don't mind, just to give our listeners a bit of an idea because they might not be able to find that information out anymore. I'm not too sure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it started in 2012, and just like everybody else, it started with one employee, and that was me. And then, we kicked ass. We built a great business, ended up at two locations, 50 employees. Last year I was with Chicago Water Pros. We did about $5 million in revenue,
Wow.
which was amazing. We're pretty dominant in the Chicago area market. A lot of people knew of us and everything. The YouTube channel helped a lot, but yeah, we were kind of
How
monsters.
many people in Chicago again? Sorry to interrupt.
I think it's 10 million in the
10 million.
not the Chicago whole
Yes.
like suburbs and
Region.
everything.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
10, it's about 10 million and
And
probably
there's
shrinking.
and there's 25, yeah, 25 million in Australia, I think, at the moment. So
Yeah,
just to put that in perspective, obviously you wouldn't service the whole of Chicago because it's so damn big, but
right.
that's a lot of people. That's a lot of people there. A lot of money getting
Cer
around, and yeah, it's
Certain.
awesome.
Yeah.
No, it's good. Um, so yeah, probably maybe go into some of the challenges like with the whole separation and stuff, like for those
Sure.
people that do work with business partners within their not just detailing business but day-to-day businesses, like that whole separation sort of thing for what you can.
Yeah, business partners can be great. I mean, it's nice too if you have somebody who has kind of skills that offset yours or things that you don't like to
Mm,
do within a business. You can get a lot of done real quick. And that's the way it was with me and Greg for a very long time. I enjoyed the partnership right up to the end. And I think like anything, we always compared it to a marriage, right? Where
yeah.
you have to have communication, you have to have a lot of things to, you got to compromise a lot in order to make sure that the relationship continues to run smooth. And with a marriage too, there's always like disagreements and arguments, maybe that things that you don't agree on. But in the end, you kind of have the same core values. And in the separation with people working, I think this is people in different parts of their lives, there's different things that are important to them, and you may have a vision or you may want to do something in part of your life that changes a decade or a different part of your life, right? The
Mm,
perspective of doing things and what's important to you. I'm a little bit younger than Greg was, so I've always had this grand vision of building something big and keep on going and building something that is exciting. I love the growth of all of this, and I think the vision just started to change a little bit
Why
on
do
a
you love the growth, Jace? Like, because so many people are just happy to just work on their own or just have an offsider. Like, what drives you to grow? Like, some people probably think that makes them sick just hearing that. You know what I mean? Like, that's crazy.
I'm not gonna say it's easy too, and I do
Yeah.
like times where I think I'm like, what am I trying to do this
Yeah.
for?
Yep. Yep.
I don't know. I've always had this attitude of, like if I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it all the way. I'm gonna be all in. I really want to take things as far as I can. I don't know. I enjoy it. I've always enjoyed learning and discovering things, and I think it's the pursuit that really drives me, right? It's like
Mm,
being, I'd never wanted to settle for anything. If I got to a point, I've never been happy. Like, this is all I want. This is, I
yeah.
don't want to go any further. And there's things, when we started Chicago Auto Pros, I mean, every year it was a different goal. we started off with one shop and we wanted to
Mm.
get up to, let's have 4 employees. Let's dive into window tint. Let's dive into paint protection film. Okay, let's grow. And then we grow into 2 shops. And it was never like, all right, we're here. 2 shops, that's it. Let's just ride this for as long as we can. For myself, it was always like, what's next? What's
Yeah.
next? And I think a lot of entrepreneurs or people with a lot of passion, you have this goal and you reach it, and it's not like, okay, that's done, we reached it. But for me, it's
Mm.
always like, let's do something more. Let's do something more.
Yeah.
Let's do something more.
And
And
you love people too, right? Like you're always training people. You're always investing into other people, like giving out your secrets, like and or your team's secrets, because and that's something that a lot of people aren't willing to do too. Sorry to cut in there, but I just think
no, no,
that's
no.
that's so unique and unheard of a lot of the
I love
times.
helping the right people.
Yeah. Yes.
So this is I don't work well with somebody who doesn't have like drive or dedication or passion. Like it's, that was one of the sticking points with my business partner. He didn't
Mm.
agree with I was quick to let somebody go who wasn't a full-on rock star, right? Because in my mind, like, in order to scale or build a business, you need the right people. And
Mm.
so I was quick to say that person's not working, let's get somebody in. And I was okay with shuffling through people because it does take some time in order to find that right person to bring into your business. But the people that I was looking for is, somebody who takes initiative and has the
Mm.
skills to be able to run on their own. Somebody who you don't need to manage or train very much. And it's very rare to have those people to come into your business, and I was okay with getting getting out all the garbage. I call them the losers, the trash that really didn't have the skills that we needed to help scale the business. And
Mm.
so while I love working with people, I love working with the right people. If somebody doesn't have, live up, have the kind of the same core values or the same drive as me, we don't work very well. It's going to be a nightmare for them because I hammer and I hammer and I hammer. And it's happened, plenty of times in the business where like, I can't keep up with you, or like
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
too much for me. And I'm fine with that. And that's okay. That's okay. That's fine. I get that. Not everybody wants to
Mm.
be bam, bam, let's go.
Yep. Yep.
And especially, some of the people within, the organization, some of the lower level employees, that's fine. They start from
Yeah.
somewhere, but the immediate leadership team, right? They got to match your energy. They got to have the same passion. They got to have the same drive, and you have to, be complementary into where what you're going and what you want to do in the vision of the business. And ultimately that's kind of where the separation kind of went. I think Greg is, a decade older than me, and kind of on the down slope of his working career,
Mm.
where he's worked hard most of his life, and now he just enjoys the finer parts of owning a detail shop, which is, talking to the customers, enjoying the employees, and kind of that like, let's just kind of work the business a little bit instead of the
Yeah.
growth sector that I was in. And
Yeah.
ultimately, I think that was, the big decision for us to be, like, hey, let's just,
Mm.
cut our ties. You still want to grow really, really fast. Greg wasn't interested in growing as fast as I was, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Mm.
And then that, pretty much was the final point of where, like, let's figure out how to split this up type
Mm.
of deal.
How was
Yeah.
that all received
You go down.
on how was that all received with the other guys within the industry over there? I know you know a lot of people, and were you supported by others, or did everyone sort
I'm
of stop
pretty
talking to you?
open. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm pretty open with things, and I decided quite a while ago that I would share my story on YouTube as much as I could, as far as like what we're doing in business, and because I want to share the learning lessons and everything. So I was open about it. It was a messy split, and this is the tough part that nobody knows, everything that goes on. So a lot of people have to make assumptions, and, you know, um, and so I think for most, I've gone out there and I've kind of, why we did the split and everything. And I think most people took it relatively, a lot of people ask why, what happened,
Mm.
and there's things
Yeah,
that, internally that I'm not going to talk about. But ultimately it was just I think just a difference of vision. And
yeah.
and that's what happens even in marriages. You decide that,
Mm.
hey, this is not what I want anymore. I have a different path in life, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But for the
And
most part, I think most of everybody, it's even the employees. Some people, nobody's going to know the full story, right? Except
yeah,
me and Greg.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
and and after that, you kind of have to make your assumptions and as best you can.
So, like, I personally have experienced the good fruit of your partnership with Greg when you guys were doing Detail Wise Academy, where I literally was so desperate. I was like, really want a business coach in the industry. I was like literally praying. I really want this. Calling out to God and had my Jesus moment. And and then literally the next day I saw an ad from you guys saying, you're doing the academy, and I was like, fire it, I'm jumping on this. And I believe I was like the last person to get on it. And this was the virtual academy. And what you guys, and like you just explained, how different you guys were. Like, you were more the detailer, if I can say, this is what my perspective was. You were more the detail, the hands-on guy. Greg was more the business owner, the business planner, all that kind of stuff. And how that really benefited me and my wife when we were building our business was awesome, because it was kind of like what me and my wife are like, where she's more the back end, I'm the front end. But like, I want to know from you, how would you recommend people who want a business partner, because maybe they literally suck at all the office stuff, and like they want to go into business and they need money, they want to partner with someone that has money. How do you qualify someone? Sorry, my kids are knocking on my door, banging on my door. Yeah, how do you qualify someone to become a business partner with you?
Sure. Well, I would say the first thing is if you are getting a business partner for money, that is the wrong reason to get a business partner. I know that most people, I think that's the number one reason why most people get a business partner for finances and everything. But it is the extremely wrong reason to get a business partner. There are so many ways to get finances. Well, in the United States, anyways, you got SBA loans. You got friends and family. You got. I would rather bootstrap my business to build it than to get a partner for financial reasons only. You want a partner again who has complementary skill sets to you. They have to be able to add value to that business. The hardest thing about having a partnership is dividing, who does what and who's making a biggest impact of the business, right? So most partnerships, when you decide to go into a business partnership, you're going in 50-50, right? We're both going to dedicate our lives to building this business. You're going to do this stuff. I'm going to do this stuff. And perception plays a big role in this, right? Who has the bigger effect on a business? Who's putting in more time? All that stuff can start to wear on a partnership, and resentment can set in if you're not very clear on who's doing what and everything. So you also want to make sure you have all the tough conversations before you go into business partnership, right? Like,
Mm.
what is the worst case scenario? Who's putting in what? And then what is the exit plan? It can get very messy if you don't have some sort of exit plan or buyout agreement, or anything like that. And I know a lot of friends go into partnerships too, it gets serious when you put money in the game, and
Because
you're
you might not
building.
think about that when you're starting, right? You're not even thinking about the
Yeah,
exit plan. You're just focused on the entry.
exactly. Yeah, and that's
True,
the
so
same
true.
thing. I went in the same way, like I'm excited, like this is great. Let's do it. And at the time, I was at a point where I didn't have the finances. Greg was a finance guy for everything. And like I didn't really have a choice. I'm like, I'll just, I don't want to stir the nest or, talk about that stuff because then what if it actually doesn't happen? I'm just like, cross my fingers and let's go into it, right? And that wasn't the right way, as far as that. So there's a lot of legal things that you want to do, and talk through and make sure that you have squared away before you actually go into a partnership with somebody. And then, if it doesn't have to be 50-50 either, you can figure that out as well. And and so having those things in place and talking about all the hard things, definitely do that. And you can have, I notice, you don't have to have a full-on partnership right away, right? You can have like a trial period. If it's a year or two, have some sort of trial period just to get to know that person, get to know what they're like at their worst and what they're like at their best. And if it works out, great, continue to go. But I think, having all that talk through is definitely a must at first.
That's really good insight. Thanks for that. It's awesome.
Hey, Jace, back in the time you were in Australia, you
Yeah,
launched a pretty awesome another side project, I would say,
yeah.
at the time. So optical PPF film. So how's all that going? Since I think you dropped like one of the days that you were here on training. Like it was pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, Optical is doing well. A learning curve to that. A
What's
big
the learning curve?
well, working with manufacturers, working, starting like I had to create the box. We had this triangle box for a little bit. We're actually transitioning out of it now, right?
Ah, why
Because
is
it was,
that?
yeah, it was one of those things like, I had to try it.
Yes,
And
yes, yeah.
I think it's so important for people to try stuff, even if it
That's
doesn't
really
work
cool.
out, because there's a learning lesson in it all. So we're changing. That's not big of a deal. We're just changing to the standard rectangle box.
Yeah.
It'll be packing and shipping. Actually, when we started off, that triangle box was about $8 per box, which was cool, awesome. The last time I got a quote, it was $42 a box, and I'm like,
Whew.
all right, we need to do something different.
Oh, wow.
Wow, it's
I would have
crazy.
kept on going with the triangle box, if it wasn't, the cost that got so high. But, you learn stuff. Optical has been a challenge working with different manufacturers on the film. It's important for us to be able to work with the manufacturer that can make something unique to us. E-Man, who is the lead trainer, research and development, loves working with film, loves working with people and training people and everything. So he's been hands-on film, and so one of the challenges is consistency with quality, working with the manufacturers. And we ran into some issues a couple times over the last year or two where we get a big order and for some reason there's a manufacturer defect. And in this business, it's very expensive for the big orders. It takes quite a while to get here, to go through the manufacturing process, especially if you have your own formula that you're going through. There's runs that they have to make, and there's minimums that we have to order. And if it comes with an issue, it's kind of like, all right, hey, I got these. We had two pallets come last March. 90 of the rolls were defective out of the 120 rolls. And it's just like, and it's like, you let them know as fast as you can, but it's like, okay, but we have to make another run. It's going to be 2 months before you get your film. And I'm like,
Oh, wow.
and that hurt. That was a big, stab to the heart.
Sorry, Jace, do they refund you for that, or how does that work when you're dealing with
Yeah.
manufacturers?
I mean, so they replaced the film, but that wasn't the hard part. It's, we were out of film for, because we had some roles, but we were out of film for 3 weeks.
Wow.
And I lost the confidence of a lot of installers.
Yeah.
And we lost quite a few installers that said, hey, and that's a risk you take when you're new,
Mm.
especially just getting started. And that hurt. That hurt a lot. But
For
I,
sure.
you know, I'm in this for the long run. I'm building a foundation. We have a lot of great installers who are dedicated to us, and every week, every month, we continue to get better. We continue to improve the process, improve our sales process, our marketing process, the offerings that we have. Slowly building in, like brochures and banners and wall boards and all this stuff that comes in with it. We're hopefully we're going to be. I've been testing some windshield films and been really happy with our testing so far. It's been about a month, but that's another big order, and I'm just scared to like hit the pay now button, because it's like, all right, especially with films that you're testing and working with different manufacturers, you hope everything's going to be all right because you don't want to get that shipment and have something wrong, or, the product is defective in some way. It can just throw a wrench into everything. So I'm just, it's nerve-wracking to pull those triggers and like, here we go. But
I
yeah.
got to ask you, how do you separate yourself from the others? Because there's so many brands of PPF now. Like they just used to be Expel, Suntech, and 3M, and Luma, and a few other brands. But now, even in Australia, there's people bringing in films. Hey, Dale, like just
Oh,
different brands
yeah,
popping up. They're the best. Like they're never yellow.
yeah.
And I'm sure they have the best intentions because they want the people who own these films want to deliver the best. But how have you gone about trying to be different and convincing, or I don't know if convincing is the right word, but like, well, let's use convincing good installers to transition or add to their inventory with your film?
Yeah, so I mean, there's not a whole lot of manufacturers in the PPF world, There's several top manufacturers that make several brands out there, and just like chemicals, it's the same thing. It's the value that you're bringing your community, and that's what I feel like I'm building is a community of like-minded business owners, who want to be successful, and we're testing and vetting and working with the manufacturers to make a product that is of high quality. So that's our job, number one. And then the support system that goes along with our brand. One of the things that we set up right away is training. As we kind of, and this may be, we may lose money on this, and we do at points, but like we offer free training for anybody who's buying our film, right? There's certain thresholds that you have to buy before you get the free training, but the whole theory behind that is I want to make sure that these installers are as successful as possible. And the number one thing is you have to learn how to properly put out a quality job of paint protection film. It's not easy. It's not something that you just jump into for a few weeks and then you got it down, like detailing usually. It takes months and sometimes years to master PPF. So we want to be a support system for all of our installers, whether it's like the technical training, which we have. If you're an installer of ours, we offer free training. You can come to our facility here outside of Chicago and train with us. We have 2 to 3 trainings every single month that go on. We're doing some trainings outside of where we're at too, across the country. So excited about that. But it's also building value in that we're here to support them. If anything does go wrong, I want to make it right for them. And that's a personal brand type of thing. That's my commitment. That's the guarantee that I offer. And then it's the business training. We offer a lot of trainings within classes, paint correction, coating, some business classes, and I just want to see them do well. I'm trying to create a brand where build that trust, where people know that they can count on us no matter what happens or what goes wrong, because there's always going to be issues, with any brand or any company selling a product or selling a service. And, we're all human, but I want to build a brand that they know that they have the security that we're going to take care of them if something does go wrong.
Is that do you have software along with this film, or or not yet?
We don't. Yeah, that's a huge question. Software, may come down the road. There's always things that we're working on, or with other software companies, and I've been talked to a lot of people about what it takes and what it looks like. But I think that's something down the road. Certainly, starting this, it's a big risk. I don't know. I'm hoping we're here for years and years and years. And I'm going to do everything I can in my power to make that happen. But I think that would be down the road. I want to get this paint protection film brand, the foundation there first.
Yep. Oh, nice.
Or a lot of guys bulking, or are they just using other software and stuff like
There's
that?
other softwares that are
Yeah,
available
cool.
on the open market. So yeah, there's lots of different softwares and everything.
Mm,
Like most people, like we bulk hoods and stuff, but like
yeah,
for bumpers and fenders, you guys know, yeah, we plot all those and everything
yeah.
too. So yeah.
Ah, cool.
Um, and another one, car supplies warehouse. So how's all that going?
Mm.
And I see you bringing up a new shop as well with that as well, or is that just Eric?
Oh, yes, yes. The bays. So we have the Car
Yep,
Supplies Warehouse, which is the online
that's it.
store, and then we have the bays at Car Supplies Warehouse, which is a
Sorry.
different business, but kind of has the same name.
Yep. Sorry.
So the bay. So Car Supplies on the online store is doing great. I love that business.
And it's a genuine warehouse, hey? Like you actually have a warehouse, is that right?
Oh yeah, it's a
Yeah.
warehouse.
You're not
It's def
just, you're not just being a middleman, you physically are stocking the stuff and boxing it,
yeah.
sending it out. Wow.
Yeah, we have some drop shipped items, but most of all of the detailing products and liquids and towels and stuff that we carry that in inventory and then ship it directly out from our warehouse. So yeah.
So
And
why did you do that? Like, why did you get into that industry? Like, surely there's enough, well, I would assume, and I'm probably wrong, that there's enough, suppliers in the US. Like, what was wrong in the industry that you wanted to correct and, do better?
I don't know if there was anything wrong, and I think there's plenty of room for everybody in the industry. I think everything stemmed from the YouTube channel. It was like, we
Mm,
built the Chicago Auto Pros YouTube channel, and we just had so many people reaching out. I mean, we were doing testing, a lot of testing videos at that point, and people were just like asking about the products and stuff, and it just kind of naturally, came into, well, let's just open, a store and see where it goes. And that type of thing. So it just kind of naturally came through and just grew throughout the years. And I always wanted a business that was not so local. I wanted to build a bigger business that could actually be worldwide. I mean, detail shops can be worldwide, but there's a lot of different, smaller locations that you would have to build in. And this build, it attracted me just because of that. I'm like, I wasn't limited to this small, like 15-mile radius and everything. I'm like, I can sell to anybody. And so
yeah,
that's
wow,
that's
that's
kind of
crazy.
really attracted me. Yeah. And then we started the bays at Car Supplies
Yes.
Warehouse.
Explain, how
So
does this work? What is the bays?
It's interesting. Yeah.
this is the part where everybody thinks I'm crazy. Like you just talked about a film company and then the online store.
Yeah.
Um, so the Bays is a self-service detailing facility, and I have a new way that I'm telling people about it. So there's something
Good.
special about it. The community that we're building is really special. So I'm explaining it as it's a full-service detail shop that people can come in and use your bays at any time, and it also has a retail store connected to it. So um, retail store is pretty obvious. There are not a lot of places, especially in the Chicagoland area, that have the premium detailing products, available. California and Florida, there's all kinds of, retail stores for detailing and stuff like that. And a lot of mobile shops will use them, or local shops will use them to pick up products, the same day if they don't want to order online. So the retail shop was a pretty easy one to open up. The bays detailing both self-service and full service, and the self-service side is just an improvement on the self-service industry. Most self-service car washes are outside. They have the brushes on the wall. They got the pressure washer. They got some vacuums out there and everything. We just took it inside. It's climate controlled. We added some specialized, equipment that detailers use, and then we have like rental equipment that they can use, right? If they want to polish the car, if they want to use an extractor or, some of this stuff. So we just kind of took it inside and made it climate controlled and kind of marketed it towards the enthusiast who wants to maintain their car, who wants to hand wash it, and cares for it. So we do have detailing professionals here that work in the retail store that offer advice and can talk to them. And it's really created this kind of cool community to come in, and people love coming in and talking about cleaning cars. I don't know. There's enough of us crazy people who want to clean cars in the world, and we're just creating our little community, our little niche here. So
Is it like 24/7? Open all day?
no, I think we've talked about that and what that looks like and how to do it. I think there's
That'd be a
opportunity.
bit loose. That'd be a bit loose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's opportunities maybe to do something. I don't, what kind of person washes their car at 3 a.m.? Yeah, it's probably not the right kind of one.
Has
Um,
anyone like tried to sneakily like run a business out of the bays? Like, like a detailer saying, "Yeah, come to my studio." Meanwhile, they're at your at the bays.
we
Like,
encourage it.
yeah,
Yes. So
yes,
we
that's so
have we
good.
have a couple detailers, mobile detailers in the area that can't work in the winter, So if
That's
they
really
got
cool.
they'll rent out the bay for a day. Our location in Wheeling, there is a permanent another business in there that has rented the
Mm,
bay, for long term. So it's kind of cool. He's a PPF guy, so the bay's subcontracts some PPF work to him. But we have three new locations that are opening up this year. We have
yeah.
Atlanta, Georgia, down south. We have St. Louis. It was just in the middle of the country. And then on the western half, we have Phoenix, Arizona, that's going to be opening
Mm,
up
wow.
probably late in the year. But it's a franchise; it's available to anybody.
Yep, so it's a franchise model. I was about to ask you that.
Mhm.
Yeah, because like how I'm like thinking, okay, how are you gonna run all these? Like so that's
Yeah,
really cool. That's really smart. Yeah, that's a lot to think
yeah,
about. Hey, um,
yeah. So I have
I love it.
three other partners in that business. Ken is the main partner there, so he runs the franchise. He put together the FDD. It's a 240-page document outlining what the Bays is and best practices and everything else that goes along with the business. And yeah, we're real excited. We have a ton of people reaching out, talking to us. I mean, we've talked to hundreds of people about it, but we have
Yeah,
a pretty thorough vetting process of who we want to work with and who we want to see. And the same thing, we're taking it slow too, right? We have
yes,
three partners that are opening up franchise locations that we really feel strongly about that they'll be successful within the business. And it's one of those things like let's walk before we run. So let's get those ones open. Make sure we have enough time dedicated to them to help them and get their businesses up and running. And once they're successful, now we can open it up to some more people. So,
So, just so we can have a better understanding, if I had a, Honda Civic, and I'm like, I want to clean my car. It's got some dog hair. I've never used the machine polish before, but I'm going to give it a go.
Mhm.
So what would someone be paying to come in and spend, just say, 3 or 4 hours? Probably haven't achieved much in that time, but yeah, like
Yeah.
what would that look like for someone? Just to give us an
So
idea.
Yeah, so it's basically about $30 an hour.
Wow.
And if you're a member, it's a little cheaper, so it goes down to $27 an hour. And then the more hours you buy, the bigger discounts you get, right?
Cool.
So
Yeah, great.
we have a 3 hour special, a half day special, and a full day special that goes along with that. We do have memberships that you can purchase that come with a certain amount of hours free every single month, and then you get discounted rate hours after that. You get some savings up in the retail store and everything else like that. So there's
Mm.
there's different memberships, but yeah, I think our half day is just under $100.
And so can I coat, like, can you supply the ceramic coating for me to coat my car with?
You can
Or
buy
is
it
that,
up
yeah,
in
yeah.
the retail store. Yep, we got
Yes,
everything.
yes, yes. So good.
What you need.
Yeah.
But we have
PPF
like
looks
the
easy. I'll
undercarriage
just PPF my
wash.
car too.
You could. I mean, you could. Hell
Sorry,
yeah.
what were you gonna say?
It's funny that so we had We had a lady come in probably 2 months ago. She was a little bit older, and she's never polished, never ceramic coated her car, but booked her car for the entire day,
Whoa.
without even holding the machine. So the staff let me know she was there and what she was doing and everything. So I was able to kind of like, I'm gonna put a half hour aside, and I worked with her for about a half hour and showed her everything about it, how to get started, how to do a test spot, kind of what she's looking for and what she's doing. And it was really cool. She was so excited. She was like, I've never done this. I just want to try it, and
That's sick.
she watched videos, and she was cool. She was very thankful at the end. She's like, thank you for taking the time to, show me some of that stuff. And I think she had to rent an extra day to do the coding and everything because she polished for one day. But it was really cool to like have, somebody just came in out of the blue, just like, I'm gonna polish and coat my car. That's cool. Have you ever done it before? Nope.
Nope.
All right, let's go.
Wow, all the things that could go wrong.
Yeah, but that's like me. Like, hey,
That's
have
so
you ever
good.
ran an e-commerce store? Nope. Well, good luck.
Did
Is
you
there
offer
a,
a job? Sorry.
Right? Yeah,
It's sorry, Dal. Yeah, you could have. What are you gonna say, mate?
is there a warehouse like yeah, the supplies at every franchisee shop now as well? Will that be the part of the brand?
a part of the franchise, yes, it is going to be a retail store.
Retail,
They may
yeah.
not have the big warehouse in the back, but every location does have a retail storefront to it. Yep.
Nice.
The sizing depends on, location and size or whatnot. And, we talk to a lot of people and it's the same thing. Like we're fresh 2.5 years in, so we're still learning a lot of things of what works, what doesn't work. And, we're always talking about, well, what else could we have or what else can we do to make sure it works? And so always fresh ideas, with partners in the business. So.
And not all of them will have Eric there making a coffee.
No, I'm so excited for his shop. He's gonna have a coffee bar. It really makes me want to put a coffee bar in here.
That's
He
so
loves
cool.
he loves
Can you
it.
tell us more about that? I actually haven't seen much about what Eric's doing and maybe a little
Yeah.
background of who Eric is or who he was?
Yeah, so Eric was the president of G-Technic North America for several years. We started working together, doing videos and traveling around the country, doing special events and stuff. And I told him, what we're doing and my ideas. And eventually I talked him into coming to work for me. And he's been working for me for the last 3, 4 years at least as business development. So Eric's a special guy who is able to talk to anybody and build relationships, and that's kind of one of my I don't have that skill set, to build those really nice relationships. He seems to keep up with everybody, and I'm always the one saying, sorry, I know we haven't talked in a year. But he is just great at getting to know people and building that stuff. He does a lot of our special events across the country and stuff too. And so he is going to open a location down south. This location is going to be a center for dry ice energy, which is dry ice cleaning. He is kind of the headmaster on that, on the dry ice energy sales operation and questions, and he manages all that and does a really good job. But he wanted basically, so he's, I don't know, 700 miles away from Chicago, right? And he would come up here so often and it was hard for him. So he wanted a place of his own, right? Where he could, have a desk or do some trainings and it just made sense for him to open up a base location where he could work out of there. So it'll be a full retail storefront. He's putting in a coffee bar because he is a coffee fanatic and everything. So really excited. And that's the special thing about this, right? That's the community building that we're trying to innovate and see. Like, having a coffee bar where, I know what he's going to do. He's going to make it like a destination where people are just going to not even into detailing because he's going to make awesome coffee, just come up and show up there. But, coming in there to kind of stop in, and whether it's in the morning or the afternoon, just to say hi, what's up, and just have those like-minded people around where you can talk about cars or detailing and everything. So it's going to be really cool. And then the back is a little bit smaller, where he won't be able to have like car wash memberships. It's going to be, but he's going to do full service and a lot of different training events there too. So, and this is a cool, unique thing. We can test what a smaller location does, and I've talked to him and I'm like, your job is to see how much margin you can pull out of a small location, see how much you can actually profit at the end of the day with a smaller location like this. So just another, variant of the Bay's concept, and excited to see how it works. And that's the exciting part, right? It's the nervous part. We're like, hey, I hope this works, and excited because let's get it going and stuff. And so,
Do you
yeah.
miss not having a traditional detailing shop?
Well, funny you say that. Because
Ah.
for the most part, my location here was just self-service and retail store, and then the warehouse in the back. And well, this is, I think, the first time publicly I would be saying this. We have leased another building, which is right across the parking lot. We're going to be moving the entire warehouse. So we did launch full
Wow.
service a couple weeks ago, but nobody knows, that we're actually moving the warehouse, and I'm going to open up and expand our entire location into more of self-serve bays. Because, like on a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we're just booked out, as far as
Wow.
the self-serve bays go. We'll have 18 to 22 people in here, which is three at a time, right after another, right after another, right after another. And it's booked out. So I want to open that up a little bit. And then it gives us more room to do our trainings and do some of the full service stuff that we're going to be expanding into. And I think that's where the magic is, because I think, having full service there, right? We have all these enthusiasts that love coming and maybe washing or touching their own car. You build this community, but they're not going to PPF the car themselves. They're not going to do, most of them are not going to do a full correction and coating on their car. They're not going to do window tint. So while we have them there, they're most likely going to use us to do those full service things. Same thing if we attract full service customers. Now we have a place where they can wash their own car, because that's always been a huge like missing link to this industry, right? You do all this high-end work and they're like, awesome, where do I wash it? Not here. We don't want to do car washes. Good luck. But now we have at least somewhere to say, hey, we got this. You can wash your car yourself. And we do offer car washes, so we'll say, well, we can do it too for
That's
the
so
price.
cool.
It's it's part of
Yeah.
the whole thing. It all circle back to
Yes.
each other, like it branches out and links back
It's like
in.
there's no broken link. You have the products they can buy, the machinery, all that. They can do it themselves, but when they can't do it themselves, they can still bring it back to you. And
Right.
then they can go home and wash it at their home because now they bought the gear off you. But if they want to go the extra mile, they go to the bays. And if they want to go the extra mile, they go to the full service section. Like that is literally what
Yeah.
you call a full circle. That's
Yeah.
great, man.
And maybe one day we have storage there. Maybe one day we have like
Yeah.
a private bar. They can come in and hang out. I don't know. We'll make like
A
hotel rooms in
hotel.
the corner. We can just stay there. We'll have a
Counselors.
simulator in the corner. We'll have water
Yeah.
slides.
Into the wash bay. Yeah, right. Wow.
Right.
So, industry-wise, Jace, how's everything going over there within the industry? I know, probably congratulations. I think you just won from the IDA, was it? The
Yeah.
distributor
Distributor
of
of the
the year?
year.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Customized Warehouse, which
that
is
was
pretty cool.
cool. That
How
was
was
really
all that
cool.
event? And yeah, what's going down over there industry-wise?
I think MTE, it was hard because it was in a new location for the second year in a row, and it was definitely bigger than last year. There was more booths there, and I think it was the biggest one. I've been going for the last, I don't know, 6 7 years to that event, and I feel like this was kind of like the biggest event. There was a lot of people there, so the industry here the past year has actually slowed down, with the election year, it always gets a little bit funky
Mm,
sometimes. And for the most part, what I'm hearing from most detailers is it's not, COVID was just crazy for most detail shops,
so,
right?
yeah.
Most consumers had some disposable income because they weren't going to restaurants. We had a couple of government surpluses that were handed out, and people had money, discretionary money to spend, and it was a big year to 2021, 2022, going into 23. But 24 kind of slowed down for a lot of people, and it's been a lot harder. I also think that you have some market saturation coming in, right?
Mm,
Um,
yep.
through COVID, a lot of people started their detailing businesses, and ceramic coating, really started to catch on. PPF has really started to catch on. So I think you have some market saturation with, detailing shops coming into the market. So I think we're also feeling that a little bit. And with that comes, the price wars, right? You have a lot of people coming in, and then you got these, anytime you get some market saturation, the price is going to be go down a little bit. And so I think you see a lot of that in the industry that happened in 2024. And so it's been, I think I see the guys that are doing well, that are doing the marketing, that understand that a business isn't just you set it on cruise control when you get to the point to where you want it. A lot of those guys who are continuing to invest in marketing and finding ways to make their business better, the guys who are investing in some technology, whether it's a CRM or some automation. AI is playing a big part in a lot of stuff. And so those people who will continue to innovate and adapt, because the prices they have went down a little bit. So you can't be that high price anymore. You got to kind of adapt to what the market is doing. So those people are still being very successful.
Adaptability is so important. Hey, like, because, like for me, I moved up from a very affluent city in Australia. A lot of money going around. It's lots going on there to a much smaller town of like 7, 8,000 people in the country. And I literally, when I told my friends and family what I was going to do, set up a little studio, doing car detailing, coatings, they were like genuinely worried about me. That I was, like it's not going to work up here. It's too wet, it's too royal. People don't know what detailing is, and all those things were kind of true. But it was my job to adapt and change the way that I market and like educate people as to why they should get their car coated in tropical North Queensland. And despite the rain, despite living there being a lot of farms, this is why you should get your car coated. This is why you should have a machine polished, and change the way I ran my business. And people ask me how you going. I'm like, I'm booked out for 2 weeks, and profitable. I'm not doing it for free,
Mm,
and it's just you got to change. Like you can't just keep doing the same thing. Everything's changing, technology's changing. You have to keep rolling with the changes. That's what
Yeah.
I reckon anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome to hear that you're that much booked out. And sometimes, you got to make the market in some places, especially in smaller rural areas, where it might not be, they might not have the same type of income in some of these higher, bigger
Yeah,
city markets, where you kind of have to kind of change your offerings. I've talked to guys, that are just killing it in farm countries, because they're doing truck accessories, they're doing bed liners, and they're doing, like tonneau covers and like WeatherTech floor mats and all the accessories and everything. Yeah, I mean, there's a adaptability is so
yeah.
important in figuring out what works and testing and
You've got to,
going
you got to
through.
find it. You got to find it. You can't just sit and wait for all those
Mhm.
emails to come in. Like you like what you do, Jace. You get out. You hunt for that. Like you push all the time. And the moment we sit back and go on cruise control and things start drying up and we start blaming the government, start blaming people, other detailers, I think that's when we've probably lost that drive and lost that passion. Maybe I could be wrong. There are outside other reasons why it can go, turn bad, but sometimes we're the problem. Like I'm the problem.
Yeah, business is hard. I talked to a bunch of business owners at MTE, and it's there's so many things that you need to have right for your business to be successful. You know, it's not just you can't just be really good at marketing. You got to
Mm,
have the sales, you got to have the operation, you got to have all the legal stuff, you have to have like employee management, a company culture that you got to build, especially if you're going to scale. And that's why it's so hard for detailing business owners to break out of that, 2 to 3 man shop and go into like the bigger shops and get some of that. It's so hard for them to break out because it becomes complicated real quick. Outside of that, because you actually have to have standard operating procedures and all this stuff going. Because if you're, so many of us that go into this business do it themselves, and they're really good at it, right? They're good at doing a lot of things real quick, but to scale it up and get other people to do the same type of work that you would do,
mm,
hardest thing. That's the hardest thing.
How was
wow.
MTE as an event now? Like, I know we all look to go into SEMA at some stage, and yeah, I know MTE is popping up to be like probably literally detail and focused only, really, and tin, I think.
Yeah, so MTE started off as like a dent repair, like a PDR
Yep.
show. So they have the PDR Olympics there every year. The IDA is attached themselves to that event, so they do their annual awards dinner and a couple different meetings. So there's an education day the day before the actual floor opens, and that has been becoming more popular. I think if you had to choose to go to SEMA or go to MTE, you go to MTE all day long. It's just a more intimate event, a lot more detailers, there to be able to talk to, and most people there. This event just keeps on growing every year, and it's just specific to the industry. So I think there's a lot more value with the MTE show. So last year we were the only film booth there. Optical was the only film booth there. This year there was like 5 or 6 film booths there,
Hmm.
so definitely growing, as the industry grows and starts to do all these different services and stuff too. So it's an awesome show. I went out to Waxstock
Oh yeah.
I think it was in the UK.
Okay. Yep.
And that's a very similar too. It's just detail and oriented. That one's only one day. I think they may be missing some of the education stuff and some of their but that was a cool, unique show too, where it's just dedicated to detailing and stuff. And those are awesome shows.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Got to get there.
You guys
Orlando,
should
isn't it?
come. Yeah, you can say, yeah, we'll get an Airbnb together, come out next year. It'll be awesome.
Do you find people are kind of transitioning maybe like, okay, I'm not going to go to SEMA this year, but I'm gonna go to MTE, like for a different experience, or just now having two, one at the start of the year, one at the end of the year.
No, I think a lot of people go to both. I think for me anyways, it's special to go these because it's almost like a little bit of vacation and a little bit of like it's like we always at the end of the day you have events, you go out together, you have some drinks and some good dinner, and there's a lot of memories to be made. And I think it's so important for detailers to go out there just to network, just to know that there's other people out there. I mean, all my best friends are there, like I feel like all my best friends are in the industry. I love going to see them. I love going to talk to them. But if you're new to this industry, it's so important to network with other owners because they have or, gone through everything that you probably are going to go through. And if you need advice, it's great to have a friend to be able to call and lean on and just talk to. And I think this industry is really cool. Maybe some people might disagree with me, but there's egos and everything. But I think most people in this industry are awesome and willing to help anybody within the industry. And I think every once in a while I see Facebook like this industry is so toxic, and you got all these egos with the industry. I'm like, well, you're probably hanging out with the wrong people
Yep.
because everybody I hang out with is cool as hell.
Yeah, that's right. I think like if you've got your walls up, then people will have their walls up too, But if you just go in and with the right intentions of just getting to know them and understanding that we're all doing business for the same reason, because we want to be the boss. We don't want to have a boss over us.
Yeah.
And for financial freedom, it's like we're all trying to do this together, and we're all, our pricing structure and all that is only going to benefit each other if we charge, well, and educate our customers, and yeah, which is really cool. So what do you think? It's like, you reckon it's pretty good here in Australia, Dale, or what do you reckon it's like here?
I reckon it's gotten better over the last couple of years from what
Definitely
I
better.
see and hear, but there's obviously probably the smaller ones out there still doing what they do or whatever, but I think we're all moving in a positive direction here, I think, definitely.
Do you guys have any detailing type of conferences out there, anything like that, like MTE or?
Literally just the
No.
brands that we work with will have like recently like a Geon conference there every couple of years and stuff like that, brand conferences, but we don't have any sort of actual detailing like a mini MTE. We don't have nothing like that at all.
Yeah, it is interesting because you have like the different suppliers. There's a handful of the major suppliers for detailers, and I just don't know if I could see them all coming under the one roof.
Really?
Like, and I don't know them well enough. Maybe they're all like, actually, yeah, we would do it if someone organized it. But
Mm.
yeah, I think that's the thing. Like, there's not enough people wanting to step out here to take that chance. And even trying to get detailers together is a pretty damn hard proposition, as we experienced a few years ago. I don't know if it's Aussie culture. I'm not too sure. Where we
Mm.
kind of like, we want to do things our own. We don't need other people. That whatever you call that. But whereas the US, I think, is far more. I don't know. It's just very different culture.
Yeah.
Some things are more positive, some things are more negative. But yeah, hopefully one day we can do something. Maybe it's got to be with a Detailing Down Under podcast. Hey, Dale.
Oh, we've
Well,
always talked about it. Yeah.
it's got
Yeah.
to start from somewhere,
Someone needs to take the leap. That's you, Dale.
Yeah, okay. We've got
Bob
plenty of time.
Phillips and Dave Phillips were inducted into the IDA Hall of Fame at the event, and I can't remember if it was them or somebody was talking about, like, when MTE first started. I mean, there was like 6 or 7 people or booths. It was nothing. And that's how everything starts.
Yeah.
Just a few booths here and there, and every year they grew and they grew, and somebody just needs to start it, even if it's just start small. It'll
Mm.
grow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it probably brings out our insecurities, hey?
Yeah, like, yeah, starting something and you only have like 25 people there, it'd be like, oh,
Yep.
that sucks.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
maybe next year you have 50, and then you got 100, and then you got
Yes.
250.
Yeah.
It's so true. When you look back at every great organization or company and how big they are now, and you look back to their origin story, it's like, wow, it always started with one and someone who had faith or, the willingness to go out on a limb. So that's cool.
Mm.
Amazon started selling just one book. They
Yeah.
sold
Yeah.
couple things, and then they sold a couple more things, and it takes a long
Ridiculous.
time to build something like that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, we
Wow.
Yeah.
might wrap it up, Jay. So, thanks heaps
All
for
right.
your time today, and yeah, it's cool to get you back on, and it's good to check in as always. And I definitely follow all your YouTube stuff, so that's sort of where I get my info from, and it's awesome. So,
Yeah, thank you guys. It was
Yeah.
nice catching up to you, see your guys' faces, and now I'm
Yeah.
gonna be, for the next month and a half, I'm gonna try to find ways to get down to Australia again.
Well, the dollar's good for you guys.
Yeah.
The
terrible for
conversion.
us.
Yeah. But I want to say, like, if I can encourage people to too, check you guys out. And if you can let us know where to find you, because despite living in a complete different country, like, we can humble ourselves and learn a lot from just simply like what you're doing, Jace, like all your experiences. Like, there is, like, we should be listening, we should be taking on what you're saying, because you've gone through a hell of a lot more than a lot of us over here have ventured through. And yeah, so well done for what you've achieved, hey. Like, like, you're doing such a great job, and you've always been a great role model. Even we all make mistakes and everything like that, but you might get knocked down, but you always get back up and to do things in a better way. So yeah, good on you, man.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Where can
Yeah.
we
If
find
anybody
you?
wants, Yeah, if anybody wants to reach out to me directly, I love talking, and Jason at carsupplieswarehouse.com. You can find the online site carsupplieswarehouse.com. Detail wise is on there. I got a lot of in-person trainings and stuff too. So
And we can buy from you. Will you ship to Australia
we
if we
do, but
pay for it?
it's
If we pay for the
expensive.
shipping?
It's-
Yeah. But you will sell
It's
things
gonna
that we
cost
probably
more
can't
than
get
what
in.
you're paying for.
Yeah, we're used to that.
Yeah,
Oh.
but no, it's open.
Yeah,
It's
cool.
open.
Good to know. Good to know.
Yeah, awesome.
Awesome.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, guys, and we'll talk soon. Thank
Cool.
you.
Thanks
Cheers.
everyone for watching.
Thanks. Bye.
That was another episode of the Detailing Down Under podcast. Subscribe now for everything auto detailing in Australia.